Hello, good morning, or good afternoon, whenever you watch this. This is the daily meditation show. It's where I pull one card and we talk about it for a couple minutes before you go on your day. I always like you, if you can, just to tune back in and comment below and let me know how this card resonated with your day today, or any other thoughts that you may have. Okay, so let's get into it. Today we have the Star card. This is a beautiful card, and I just like to note that the Star card appears in the tarot deck right after the Tower card. The Tower card is a pretty significant card, as they all are, but the Tower brings with it a lot of destruction and disaster, or it can. That's one or two meanings behind the Tower. It is emotional upheaval, it can be physical upheaval, rapid change, disaster, kind of brings everything down in your life. It could symbolize a death or anything, divorce. It does carry with it sometimes a very negative connotation, such as disaster. I also read it as a realization. However, with the Star card, um, coming right after the Death card, the Star card comes in and gives us renewal. It is that blank canvas to work from again, to start growing and creating. So when I see the Star card, it's a beautiful card that symbolizes to me a new beginning or start. However, it does come with the pain behind it because of the Tower card. Something was brought down and possibly something was removed from your life. However, I don't mean to talk so much about the Tower card, but it is significant that when the Tower does come down, as they say, it does strip away things in your life that possibly weren't needed anymore. So with the Star card, that tells me that you're moving into new clean water to rise up from all of that. This could be your relationships, anything. Okay, so the Star card is also known as the wish fulfillment card. It has the stars here. So as you're starting over, you're going to want to think about what it is you really want, and not as in wants like our ego desires wants us to want. It's the ego says, I want the car, I want that person to love me back, I want the job, I want the beautiful house and the picket fence. Those aren't necessarily celery. Sorry, the wants we're talking about. The kind of wants the Star card has us looking at is more about our basic foundational qualities as a human being. So as she stands above this water, which represents the unconsciousness, our desires we realize after the collapse of the Tower, what real desires are. Like, for example, I want my children to be safe. I want to be healthy. I want to live a life of compassion and not aggression, stuff like that. Because the objects that fill our, desires and the people that we're just grasping straws at, those are things outside of our control. And that was why the Tower came down in the first place, was because it got to such a point that it couldn't contain all these desires or wants. And the universe eventually just takes it all away and goes, this is what you're left with, and this is what matters. Okay, so let's just look at the card for a second. Let's see. So the one glaring thing in this card, obviously, is a naked female here. So she represents going back to innocence, purity. That's why we say with this card, it's going back to the basics. So when you come out of something perhaps disastrous, or even if this card were to show up in the reading, I might say to you, go back to the basics. Don't worry about social networking and, I don't know, all the craziness that happens in our busy lives. Maybe just time to drink more water. Maybe reach out to a friend. I don't know, whatever it is to you, but The star, the star card is just very foundational, very minimalistic, right? She is purity. It's everything starting out from the beginning again. Like I said, a clean slate. And there's a lot of water here, so that does represent just cleansing everything. You want the health of your emotions, your thoughts, your health, everything to grow in this new beginning that you're given. The water she's dumping out, as you can see, it's being dumped out from both pitchers here. You see that she's not lifting one up and the other one's being poured. So that tells us that the flow of creativity is ever flowing. It doesn't ever stop. Even when you feel like life or the universe isn't giving you anything, you feel maybe disconnected, uh, detached from your life, maybe your spiritual life, maybe just a disconnect from other people. This card talks about you are connected. You'll always be connected, even though you don't feel that connection. It's always cycling through, and it's there. And as this bird up here, if you see this little red bird, that also is a symbol of creation. So a lot of artists like this card because it's so symbolic of creation, manifesting and making something from scratch. But for most people, the way I read this card is it comes as a great relief to me because it tells me that you've gone through something quite disastrous, or if not disaster, there was just a swift change in direction and it left you feeling quite vulnerable. That was also something else I wanted to hit on or touch on about her body being nude. It's completely exposed, so there is a vulnerability behind it. And when we have a fresh wound, if we rip off a Band-Aid and it's exposed, every touch, even a breath of air on a wound, you could feel it. And it sometimes can be a little stingy or painful. And so the star card does represent that vulnerability as well, that we're walking into this new life, this new growth, a little vulnerable. But that's okay because the star card is such a card of beauty and an essence that there really is nothing to be afraid about. It's all about creating new wonders in your life, enhancing the relationships you already have in your life, creating new foundations to work off of. Sure, it is the card to make a wish, but as we talked about, what is your wish now? Now that something has been deconstructed in your life and you have the time, or not, maybe not the time, but you have the star card, and it encourages you to really think about what it is, your desires that you need for your soul. So it's like a soul connection. It's not just what do I want, what kind of car do I want. Okay, so we already talked about that, but so I guess what I'm getting at though, the star is a beautiful card to really dream. It is being lit by the stars, so it's a star glazed night. It's this very peaceful yellow golden lit energy, um, lighting the darkness. That's just illuminating the darkness just a little, so it only gives you a little light to work with, but that's all you need because you're just growing. And this card is a card of peace. It's a very quiet, calm, peaceful card. So when you get it in a reading, it's a good sign that you're on the way up. You're growing and you're creating, and to harness that energy because it's here for you as it is, as it always is. But now you might feel it a little bit more because you're so vulnerable to this card itself because of what came before it. So I love this card. It's a beautiful card. And that's your daily meditation. So take this card with you into your day today. And, maybe for you, it's a time to literally set down that painting canvas and create something. Maybe for you, it's looking back on your life and realizing all these things that didn't work out might have been for a reason, that there's something better for you, and try to maybe, reimagine that star above your head, and what is it that you really want? What is a real desire for you? What gives you real joy and happiness? Okay, well, thank you for joining me. That was delightful. Please leave a comment below. Let me know how this resonated with you today, or any thoughts. Thanks so much. Have a great day.